Sabino, Saram.
Sairam, again to all of you. You said you had some question before we start?
I'm interested in your seva doings. You wrote in your bio that you was you like doctor. You made many seva. You was entrepreneur. Can
Yes.
you experience of seva?
Yes. Okay. The seva. Well, I always did seva actually in my life. Even when I was in Italy, when I was really young, I used to do voluntary work for children, for the community, since I was actually in my 20s. And I used to work and use some of my free time to be helpful in the community. Of course, when Baba sent me to England, and then when Baba asked me to go to England, the main reason, as you remember, was because I need to learn English, and with the knowledge of another language, because I already knew a little bit of French, but it was a very elementary from the school when I was really young. But English was the main language that Baba wanted me to learn. So being in England, start to work in England, because also Baba told me that I'm supposed to learn English, but not at school. Everything must be on life. So that you work, you learn.
Was it difficult for you to learn English such way?
Of course it was, because imagine then now, for instance, Baba asked me to go in Japan. So you go in a new country, you have no idea about any words. So I have to quit my job in Italy. So go back in England, find a job, which because I didn't speak any English, the only job I could get was basically washing up in the hotel. So they basically put me in the kitchen, and it took me bit by bit to improve, because you see, English are not very helpful. So for me, it was a struggle. So the first couple of years was really, really hard, because I have to work and I have to learn. Baba didn't want me to go to the school. So when I finished work, I used to study by myself, translation things. Then I liked to make it easier, listen to the radio, to memorize the sound, the words. Yeah.
But your English is perfect now.
Well,
Yes.
after 30 years, it would be a shame.
Yes, and what about seva in London?
No, at the beginning, there was no seva in London, because my priority was to work and to learn English.
Not possible, yes.
No. In fact, when I went to India the first time, it was for 6 months, as you remember. And then for a few years, Baba didn't let me come back to India, because I focused to learn English. So when my English got better, so from 95, I was finally back in India in 98, and my English was already, quite enough to communicate. And but the seva did not start right away. So basically, I start to improve my English. Then I start to go back from 1998 in Puttaparthi again every year. So I used to work 5, 6, 7 months, get the money, and then back in Puttaparthi. In the between, I used to manage to see my family, because Baba told me Italy will become my holiday. For the time being, I have to focus between England and India. Once back in India, every year, the seva start to appear in 2000. What happened was then, Puttaparthi calls many people, many nationalities. At the time, there were huge Italian community, big, very big one. And many people, they found out that there was this guy, which was me, then could speak Italian and English. People start to stop me in the street in Puttaparthi, ask me, "Oh, I need to go there. Can you take me? Because I don't speak English. I need to see this doctor." And I always used to say, "No, I don't do this. No, I don't do this." And that this was going on for quite a while. Many people thought it was not very nice for me to say no and reject the seva. But there was a reason. The reason was that many people used to come and say, I need to go to this doctor, I need to go to the therapist, which all those doctor and therapists, I didn't know those people. So I want to be sure that if I have to do seva for someone, it should be a person which is in the truth, in the Dharma, in the all, Baba's teaching, because there are so many people, they are very naughty, they take advantage, they pretend to be a spiritual healer, doctors, stuff like that, and they take advantage to the people to get the money. That was the reason why I used to say no. People will keep coming. And so I said to Baba, until you don't come personally and you tell me if I have to do it and to whom I supposed to do the seva, which doctor, which therapist, I'm not moving my ass. It's your problem, not mine. Fix it. Baba came actually one night and he specifically told me to go to specific doctor, which at the time was Dr. Prakash, which was an Ayurvedic doctor, very powerful, which unfortunately he passed away a few months ago. There was another therapist, Tapas, used to work to energy, block energy, and through Baba, it was like a channeling and all those things. So he told me to work for Prakash, for Tapas, and another doctor, which is the healing vibration, the vibrating thing,
vibronic.
The vibronic with the Dr. Agaval. Those the one Baba sent to me. So I start to work basically full time with them as a translator, with the vibronics. I became a teacher, so I could teach basically I used to, with the vibronics, with tapas as well. And then, I start because, knowing all those people, I did some seva with the Isaac Tigret, for Hard Rock Cafe, Anil Kumar, the Baba translator. Sometimes they used to basically call the satsang, and they used to call me as an interpreter for the Italians. And there was another one which he passed away also a year ago. I don't know if you know him. Beautiful soul, Father Charles. He was a Nigerian priest, Catholic, beautiful soul. So we used to do a lot of work together as well. So, and this started basically, and because at the time I was literally the only Italian, because you see, Puttaparthi is full of people, and there are many people that can speak few languages. But unfortunately, most of the people instead, because Baba used to say, you don't pick Seva, Seva picks you. So that means that many people, even though they could do what I was doing, they would not do it because they were more interested in the kind of seva which, I showed them an interview. So, at the time there were the kitchen group, which they used to work in the kitchen for the decoration, Christmas decoration, Easter decoration. So those groups were more likely, to have an interview because they used to do that kind of things. There was the main leader, which was very close to Baba. But I was always by myself, and it was my choice because I didn't want to belong to any group, and because I believe that Baba is God, I say if he wants to call me, I don't need to be in the group. I don't need to be on the spotlight. He knows what I'm doing. He knows, so be it. So that put me in the position to be well known in Puttaparthi, because also a doctor in the hospital, they start to get to know me because when people were unwell, I used to take to the hospital, translate, sometimes spend the day and the night there because some people need basically assistance and they had no one, especially elders. So at one point, unconsciously, I actually became famous, but only because no one else wanted to do it really. And I honestly, I enjoy very much because, I like to actually to do it. So that's the way Seva started. And basically starting this from 2000, and then it got stronger and stronger. But, thanks also, I guess, to the Seva and those people that I start to work with Prakash, Tapas, Agaval, you also learn a lot because with those doctors, you learn a little bit more, you have knowledge about Ayurvedica, you understand how works the channeling things with Tapas, and the vibronics as well, which is a beautiful seva, which I'm still doing. I'm still, try to involve more people on this because Baba always says service, service, service. Instead to be focused, I think each one of us has his own way to serve God, to connect with God. And but I believe, as Baba said, the best way to really serve God is through action, to seva. You do bhajans, is nice. You do 180 mantra, is nice. It helps. But the physical part, the action part, the very needed part is the one that helps the most. And I believe in that because Baba was an example that he was always doing things, always in action, hospital, campus, education, water line. It was all non-stop. And also spending so much time in Puttaparthi, because I used to spend 4, 5, 6 months. One thing that I could not understand, because I used to meet so many people, and they used to do all these satsang gathering for peace meditation, love meditation, all those things. But what I could see in a daily life, they were always angry. They were always, irritated. They were always intolerant. So I could really not understand how can you do so much meditation and stuff and still have so many issues. For me, it was different because, of course, also I used to have all those issues as well. But the physical seva, the fact that I was involved physically, mentally, energetically, emotionally, it used to help me also through all this seva as a mirror to reflect and see what was wrong with me. So this seva helped me more than I helped the seva because I could see all the things that I need to fix about me, about my anger, my intolerance, my resentment, my sadness, my past, every time I was doing this with other people, with those doctors, with those therapists, I could see always a reflection on me. And then I say, oh, I'm like this. Sometimes I do this. Sometimes I lost my temper like this. So it was actually more helpful to me than my translation, really. That's what I said. I thought there was somehow the right path. But still, there was always part of me, as a human, we always look other people and we compare. And then we say, am I good enough? Am I enough spiritual? Am I good devotee? Am I doing the right things? Am I in the Baba's value? Because you look at people and say, oh, maybe they are doing things and I don't, maybe, but to be honest, I never cared. I wasn't, I like bhajan, but I don't really sing. I go there, I enjoy the listening really. And I'm not the kind of person that sit 2 hours and do 7,000 mantra. I don't care, and even I know I have this love for God and for the planet and to serve, but I was not really into it in all this gathering group together, chanting the name of the Lord, all the kind of crap. That was the point that I start to question again myself. Another experience which I learned from it is do not listen anyone, because in the past I used to, because I was new about most of the things, especially India culture, the East called the energy, the karma, the reincarnation, the chakra, all those kind of things. And every time people used to come here, and say, you're supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do this, and you have to check the chakra. And many people used to say, I hear Baba's voice, I have an inner voice, Eastern voice, I see the light, I see that. And I started to think, how come I don't have all those things? Because I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. In the darshan, there were people saying, look, you see the light around Baba, the blue light. And I used to be like this, no. And then I thought maybe something is wrong with me. And because of that, I said, okay. And someone say, maybe you are, they told me about the chakra. I said, maybe you have some blocks, and that's why you can't feel. I said, oh my God. I said, we need to fix this. And I remember then in 2002, I was in England, and I was so confused and really insecure and upset. And I said, before I left, because Baba usually used to come and tell me the date, then I'm supposed to leave at the date, and then I'm supposed to come back. He used to come in a dream. Then I said to Baba, listen, next time I come, you must call me from an interview because we need to talk. And because usually Baba used to come just in a dream and guided me. And every time Baba used to come, the only thing is I said, do you need anything? And I used to say, no, I'm fine. Thank you. Just look after me. So, but the time I really, really want interview. And even sometimes during the darshan when Baba used to stop, and, used to talk with people, say, are you okay? Say, do you need anything? I said, no, fine. I'm okay. And, but now I say, I need an interview. So in 2002, it was a September, and this I was with a friend of mine. It was me and this guy from Canada, and when there was this feeling in the air, then it was very close. Finally, the 5th of September. The darshan started and this feeling was really strong, and then Baba came, and then he told me and my friend, basically we were called for the interview. So I was so excited. And before, because you talk with people and people used to tell me, oh, don't bother to prepare your interview, to make a list, because the interview goes the way Baba wants to go. So is it possible that you go there and he makes you forget everything? I said, oh my God. I said, I can't forget because I have questions. I don't want to forget my questions.
And did you do this list?
No, everything was here. But I remember then when I was going in a veranda, I said, please don't do things. No, don't make me forget because it's really important. We need to talk. We were 12 people. So there was this group from Austria, and then it was me and other people there, and my friend as well. And then we got in the room. And at one point, Baba was sitting, and then he looked at me, and then he said, "How are you?" And then I said, "I'm fine." And then he said, "Do you need anything?" And I said, "No, no." I said, we need to talk, but I don't need anything. And then he looked at the people and said, every time I ask him, do you need, he always say no. People always ask me. He said, no, it's fine. No, it's fine. And then I told him, look, just look after my health, because if I'm healthy, I can do things. But, and then he started to rotate, and then he made this. Actually, I'll show the picture because otherwise you won't be able to see it, which is a necklace with a Salvadharma.
Yeah. Oh, and these rings?
They're all made. He did this necklace with the Salvadharma. And then I went to see it. It started, but in my mind it was, please call me for private interview. Call me for private interview. So you start to call some people, and finally at the end he called me inside privately. I got in the room. Baba let me first, And then he came after. I saw Baba's chair, and I said, okay, I go sit down next to the chair. So when he comes, he sit and we talk. That was in my mind. But then what happened was that Baba got inside. He came, but instead to sit, basically, because I was on my knees, what he did, he took my face like a baby, like this. He put on his bed like this, and they start to hug me. And then, when you do like this to the baby, and then basically, I don't know how long I've been there, but there was always this hugging and caressing and kissing on my forehead. And they used to say, "Oh, you very good boy. You're very, very naughty, but very good, very good." And then was basically like this. And I was just entrapped like this, and I could not really move. And then at one point, I actually start to push back Baba, and I said, "Baba, we need to talk." And then he said, "Yeah, yeah, we talk." And there was all this in caressing, kissing, hugging like this. And after a while, I pushed back again. I said, "Baba, we need to talk." He said, "Yeah, yeah, don't worry, just relax." And then I thought, okay, Sabino, here there is a God in a physical form giving you so much love. Why don't you enjoy all this and stop whining? So I start to relax, and then I start to hug him back, because before I was like this, and then I start hugging back. And then I say, okay. And then I start, I want to feel his body, everything, and everything seemed so small, the legs is a little bum, the shoulder, everything is small. But every time I was look at him, it seemed huge, like, infinite. And there was this contrast between the feeling and the sight. He was enormous, and still it felt very small. And at one point, while there was this endless hugging and kissing things, Baba said, okay, now we have to go. It's very late. And I said, where are we going? And then he said, we have to go. It's very late. I said, I'm not going anywhere. We didn't talk. And then he said, no, no, I like a grandpa. I call you another time. And he started to walk away. But as soon as he started to walk away, I grabbed his arm and I pushed him back. And I said, no, no, we need to talk. And he was like, no, let me go. And so Baba was struggling, and I was grabbing him like this. I said, no, we need to talk. It's very important. And then he said, I call you another time. I said, no, I don't care. I said, we need to talk now. And then he said, but I call you another time. I said, no, I don't believe you. Because when you say another time, it could be next life, next year, your time is different. So I said, no. And he said, no, no, I call you. And then I asked him, you must have promised me that you call me in my time, in this trip, in these months, no another time, what I don't know when is it. He said, okay, okay, okay. I said, no, okay, you must promise. I said, yes. I said, no, you must promise. And then in that moment, it changed. It was no human anymore. And then he looked at me very serious, and then he did, I promise. In that moment, the vibration changed. His first name is Satya, truth. I know it will not lie because he made a promise, and God cannot lie. Only then I just had some peace. I say, okay, I believe you now. And then we left. We left the room. And 2 days later, the 7th, again during the Dasha, I remember the Dasha was so fast. Then I saw Baba at the gate coming out, and then boom, I saw just Baba in front of me. And then he said, you and you go. It was so fast that I thought, can't be right, because it's too soon. I know he said I called you, but I wasn't expecting that soon. I said to my friend, let's stay here because maybe it's not for us. But Baba, after few meters, he walked. They said, come on, go, 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 go." So it was actually us. And then we got inside again. Of course, I'm telling you this story, but I'm cutting short because there are more details, but it will be like 4 hours. So we don't have that much time. I give you the best one. We got inside. Baba start to talk, blah, 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 start to call some people, and then finally he called me back privately. So this time, though, I didn't go to the chair. I go on my knees. I say, I'm standing. So, otherwise he comes, he hug and kiss and hallelujah. So but what happened was then I got in the room and I was standing and then the Baba come in. Now I'm much taller than Baba. And Baba said, why are you standing? Sit there. And I said, no, I'm fine like this. Just talk. We need to talk. And then he said, yeah, but if we talk, have to be like this. You two talk. and then I say, okay. And then, in a private interview, there is also like a small sofa. Then you can actually sit there. So he said, let's sit together on the sofa. I said, okay. So we start to go to the sofa to sit. So at sit down, Baba was basically pretending to sit. But then when I sat down, it just moved just again in front of me. And then it got me again. So I would sit down and I was just like this. I had Baba's face here. And I was, oh my God, here we go again. And then I was just like this, entrapped. And then Baba's face here with this big smile. And then I didn't really look happy. And then I said, Baba, we need to talk. And then he said, yeah. And he said, well, you are very good. You're very good boy. He started to kiss on my forehead here. And then, do like this. And then I said, okay. And then at one point, finally, he said, okay, let's talk. And then he said, what is the problem? I said, Baba, I think there is something wrong with me. Maybe some chakra are blocked because I'm not like other people. I don't really care about bhajan. I don't care about meditation. I don't care about the mantra, the sadhana. I don't care about the japamala, namasmala. I don't really care about anything. I know I love you, but I don't care about all those things. So you need to fix it. Maybe I have my heart chakra is broken. So you need to fix it. So he put his hand on my heart and he said, seems fine to me. And then he said, listen to me. All creation, everything in the creation is perfect because I created. I'm the creator. You are part of this creation. There is something wrong with you. That means I made a mistake. And I never make a mistake because the creation is perfect as I want it. And I create you exactly as I want it. Don't look others. Each one of you are born original. You don't have to become a copy of someone else. You are the way you are because I want you to be like this. It's I create you. Don't look others, don't listen to them, because most of the time they're just talking, but it's all lies. They come in the mandir, they sit down, they do Swami, Swami, Sairam, Sairam, all angel in the mandir. But when they live in the world, in Puttaparthi, when they meet others, they're not very nice people. They lie, they gossip around, they look, they judge, they all do those things. They argue, they fight in Puttaparthi, they fight with different culture, they fight in the family, and they come in the ashram, Sairam, Sairam. You are the way you are. I love the way you are. Don't care. Keep doing what you do. Your seva is good. You always speak your mind. You always tell the truth. You always be righteous, in peace, love, no violence. That's what I need from you. You keep doing this. I'm always happy. And then because of that, I say, keep talking to me, because you see, since I was a kid, I used to have the habit to sit down. I told you already in the previous one, and talk. I know someone was listening. And actually, I'm still actually doing now. You know, I sit down, I look Baba's speech and I talk. So in the interview, he say, keep talk to me. I like when you talk to me because we are very good friends. Keep talk, don't stop talking. So that was, it's always been my relationship with Baba. So, and he said, keep doing the seva, but keep talking to me, because like a friend, because God at one point becomes your father, your mother, your lover, your friend, your companion, your confidant. And don't worry about the other. Don't look at them. Don't pay attention. You always be kind, and that's it. From that moment, it was a kind of enlightenment, because it's like, you know, the interview was basically washed away the doubts, insecurity, fear. You know, it literally showed me completely faith in God, but also in myself. That was basically the end of the interview, but also the interview was actually kind of a new Sabino came out, like from the phoenix, you know, come out from the ashes, you know, and with different awareness, different knowledge. So you, of course, it takes time, but you learn not to pay attention, not to care what people think, start from my family, friends, it goes. If you stick to the truth, to the Dharma, to the peace, love, and non-violence, doesn't matter if people think good or bad about me. I don't really give a shit. Right now, you know, you follow the path, and some people likes less, especially when you speak the truth, because people see the truth like a poison sometimes. So that was the end of the interview, but something happened between the second and third interview. There is a little story that I want to tell you, because there is a reason behind. The second interview was, as I told you, was the 5th of September 2002. So when we were in the interview room with the other people, Baba looked at me and said, and he asked, "Is today the 7th?" And I said, "No, it's the 5th." And he looked at me and said, "Are you sure?" And then I said, "Yes." And then there were other people in the room, and they look at me and say, "How do you know? He is God. He knows everything. See, if he says 7, probably today is the 7th." And I said, "Well, he's wrong, because today is the 5th. And Baba was looking at me and said, "Are you sure? I think it's the 7th." I said, "You're wrong." I said, "It's the 5th. It's the 5th of September." Everybody still looked at me really bad, you know, and Baba said, "Oh, okay." But then 2 days later, when he called me again, it was the 7th. And when I stepped in the interview room, he looked at me and said, "Today is the 7th, isn't it?" And then I said, "Yes, today is the 7th." I said, "Okay, you're right." Of course, in the third interview, people were there, they had no idea what we were talking about, because in the other interview, there were different people. So they had no clue why Baba asked me that. But when we went privately, he said, "Well done." Because yesterday, everybody said I was right because I'm Baba. But you stick to the truth. And you don't get fooled about this. Always stick to the truth. You challenge, there was a taste. You see, sometimes the universe, God, it puts you in taste, and it doesn't matter. You always stick to the truth. You know, even Baba would say that, but doesn't mean he's right, you know, and his first name is Satya, the truth. So, but people sometimes they won't look good. So in the group, they didn't want to see they were against Baba because he was the master. But I didn't care, because I knew 100% it was the 5th. That is a little story to explain how important it is always to stick to the truth, to the Dharma, to the peace, to the love, to the non-violence. And then before I left, I said, "Baba, it's still okay for me to do this kind of seva?" And he said, "Don't stop. You're doing very well. Don't, just keep going, keep going." Very happy. And that was the end. basically from then, I used to work with the Prakash, with Tapas, with Agaval, with the hospital. And then when there was everything was fine, no one was sick, I used to actually give my service also to the canteen, to the Western canteen. I used to go there to do seva there, or to cook or to serve.
You was cooking?
Yeah. So I used to help. There was already the person in charge, but I used to help to prepare the food and also to serve. And now, for instance, I'm in Malaysia because he said that it needs there, go there. Everything paid. So someone paid the ticket. I didn't spend any money. And I've been here for 7 weeks. And now he told me, now, actually, I'm leaving Monday because this morning he told me, go back in Italy. And then when things will be more ready to do, I call you back here. So you always follow the master. If you connect, you always get the message, but you need to be connect. Or connect not here, but here. If you are in the truth, in the right conduct, you are if you are truthfully with yourself, honest with yourself, and you don't have to worry about the past, you don't have to worry about the future. It's about the surrender prayer. You given up on him everything, and because you given up, you have no worries about what happened yesterday or what's going to happen in the future. Naturally, you have to focus in today, in the present. And hold on, did the power shut down again? Yeah, because the power went. Anyway, sorry. And what happened is, if you are in the present, you basically, it's like you connect. It's like, imagine internet, the Wi-Fi. If right now I'm in the house and there is the modem with the Wi-Fi, if I'm close to the Wi-Fi, I have all the tick on the mobile and the connection is very strong, right?
Yes.
But if I go 1 kilometer far away from the Wi-Fi, the connection gets slower until I lose connection. Similarly, if we are in the past or in the future, worry or miserable or concern or fear, you are far away from the connection. But if you say, okay, it's up to you, my life is in your hands, I'm here, I'm available, tell me what to do, and I do in my best. And then you wait. The most important things, Julia, is to be available. We never know when we will be called. But if you are available, the moment I'm available, we say, go to Malaysia, I go to Malaysia. I'm free because I'm present. So every time it comes, I'm there. I'm not busy. I'm not concerned. I'm not worried. It's easy to connect me with him with me. And this is for everybody. I'm not special. I only practice. That is the only difference between me and many other people.
The first question is, it would be interesting to know how spiritual development was reflected in physics, how the body and health have changed. Were there any illnesses after visiting the party or during? He wants to know how your spiritual development, your spiritual life reflect on physics. Maybe you have some healings, I don't know, maybe you have good health because of spiritual experiences.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, yeah, of course, because once you start this journey, if you are in the present and you don't worry about the past, you don't worry about the future, you remove, fear, doubts, resentment, of course you are in peace. If you are in peace, of course you get healthier, you get stronger. It's scientifically proven that many people get sick not because they get infected, but because they have so much fear, and the fear makes the immune system lower, until you are vulnerable and you get sick. I never get sick. I'm a healthy person. I'm 60. I don't get flu. I don't get infected. I didn't get COVID. I didn't have vaccine. I've been traveling. I meet people, but in my mind there are no fears. Therefore, my immune system is really, really strong. According to this, there is a story that Baba used to tell. There was this sage. He was in his 60s, and he decided basically to leave the family, the society, and go to the forest and retire himself to connect with the divine. He was from Damascus. He left the city. He started to walk towards the forest. And while he was walking, he met this entity, cholera. You know cholera? Cholera is sickness, is healiness. He was going to the forest, and then he met this person, and he asked, "Who are you?" And then he said, "I'm cholera." He said, "Where are you going?" And he said, "I'm going to Damascus." I said, "Oh, a lot of people gonna die." He said, "I'm gonna take 300. The sage said, "Okay, Sairam." And then he went to the forest, and cholera went to Damascus. And after a few months, the sage left the forest to go back to Damascus. On his way to go back to the city, he met a lot of people. They asked, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to Damascus." Say, "Oh my God, so many people died. Over 2,000 people died because of cholera." And then he said, "Okay, Sairam." So in his way, the sage met again cholera. The sage said to cholera, "You lied to me." And cholera said, "No, I didn't." And then he said, "Yes, you told me you have to take 300, but I've been told that over 2,000 people died." Cholera answered, "No, I didn't lie. I only took 300. The rest of it, they were taken by fear." It wasn't me, it was a fear that killed them, no cholera. You see, that should answer your friend questions. It doesn't matter if you go and put a party, if you start a spiritual journey. It matters how healthy you are here, how much trust you have in the universe, and say, "Okay, this body, this life belongs to you. Forget about the past. Don't worry. Things that happen, it already happened. Belong to past. We can't change it. In the future, we don't know. Live today. Do your best. You make a plan, of course, but if they don't go the way you plan to go, then accept and say, okay, the universe, the last word belongs to the universe. Accept it and move on."
Is it true that things materialized by Swami, the things that Swami was materialized, can be dematerialized, can vanish?
Yes.
And why it's happening?
Because sometimes the person doesn't know need anymore, or because sometimes the person passed away and things disappeared. Sometimes the person lose it. I think then actually Baba didn't materialize, but probably because sometimes they also lost it, which is meant to be. Things are given to God. God gives to you, and you enjoy it. And be ready, because he can take it back anytime. And that is for everything. Sometimes Baba used to manifest things because they have a potential energy for that person for specific time. So God gives you job, and then you lose a job, you get another one. Don't get upset. You have a house, earthquake comes, house is destroyed. Don't panic. Make another one. God gives, he takes back. There is always a reason. Learn from it. Don't get upset.
Did you have a mystic experience with Swami, with Baba?
Sometimes it's not just the interviews. Most of the time, actually, is in what we call in a dream, but is in an astral world. So it's in another plane, another dimension. So some of us, have also that kind of experience sometimes. Yeah.
And can you share your experience?
Yeah, I remember this one. And it was years ago. It was basically that year, Baba was in a physical form. And there was this big event. Everybody was waiting for, it's called the thousand full moon. We have uh, uh, 12 full moon per year, right? Now imagine there was the event of the number 1,000. And this number, the 1,000 full moon, happened when the avatar was on the planet. And I remember everybody was waiting for this event because Baba said it was a very auspicious and very powerful, and this was a benefit for everybody on the planet, even people that didn't know about it. As I told you, Baba used to come and tell me the date to leave England and to go to India and my return. But the year, which I remember, Baba told me to go India a little bit late. And I was in England, I was working, and I was a little bit upset because I really want to be in Puttaparthi for this event. And I said to Baba, why are you doing this? I really want to be there. And then he said, you'll be there. The night of the 1,000 moons, Baba came that night and he said, I take with me. I was in my room and Baba came. And then at one point, we kind of teleported in this new dimension. And it was me and him on the bank of the river, Chitravati River.
It's incredible. And
it was really beautiful.
Yes, question.
And he said, look, the moon. And the full moon was there. And then he waved his hand and the moon started to get closer and closer and closer. And I, I remember closer it was so big. Then he said, now pay attention. And then he started to, when you read a book, then you fold the page. So he started to basically, like he was folding the page in the sky. Every time he was turn the page, another moon was behind. It's like the sky was the book, and then he started to flip every time in the sky, and then a new moon came out, and then another moon came out, and then another full moon came out, until basically say 1,000. And this is just you and me.
That introspection is very important in spiritual life. To analyze ourselves. It is another word. How to analyze ourselves? Is it good to have diary?
Is it good to have a diary?
To make diary of analyzation.
Absolutely, yes. Because you see, I give an example. All my Baba experience, I took notes because sometimes it comes back to me for some reason. Or it doesn't have to be just Baba experience. Everything then it moves you, it changes you, it strikes you, and you notice the changing, like a butterfly. Then you, from a worm, you become this beautiful being. You need to witness the moment with awareness, then you see the change. And the only way to do it is the diary is a good thing because you write down all your experience or the dreams or messages, whatever, But remember, we spoke last time, the surrender prayer. Because with the surrender prayer, you read the first sentence and can you recognize yourself there? Can you? No. Don't read the rest. Work on that sentence and then make a note. Okay, this done. I won. I conquered the fear. I conquered the judgment. I conquered the darkness. I conquered the gossips. I conquered the resentment. I conquered the relationship with my family. I conquered, the jealousy, the envy. Why am I jealous? What am I missing? What do I need? Am I okay? Do I learn to accept myself without comparing? Is a work that you do from the moment that you start this spiritual journey, is introspective. From that moment, it never stops until you leave this body. It's constantly, and we change, we grow, we get better, and you look in the past, it's not the same Sabino 20 years ago, it's not the same Sabino the last year. I changed. Of course, in this transformation, many people won't like it. Most of the time, honestly, it's lonely because it's no easy journey. Sometimes you share, sometimes you are with gathering. Most of the time, at least this is my experience, most of the time I'm by myself. I'm actually alone because it's the only way to really work. I enjoy this. I enjoy with people. I have a lot of fun, probably too much. But again, most of the time I'm actually alone and I don't mind. I don't feel lonely because that is the moment between me and universe, me and God.
And about analyzing, yes, you talk. It is also about analyzing yourself. Да, это же как раз про...
It's a mostly on yourself, not others. You don't supposed to focus on others. You're supposed to focus on yourself. Our duty is me. It's not my duty to fix others. It's not my duty to change others. My duty is to change myself, become an example, and show it, share it. Some people will appreciate, we learn, we share. Some people will criticize. We probably, talk bad about it. That's not my problem. You keep doing for yourself, not because you want to please others, because you want to be famous, because you want to be on the spotlight. You accept that everything changes. We change, the world has changed, relationships change. Today I have a girlfriend, today I have a boyfriend, we are in love and everything, I have a husband, wife, children, but relationship always develop, change. You are now, you were a little girl, you were a daughter, and then you grow up and then you become also friend, and then you get a boyfriend, then you become a girlfriend, and then you get married, and then you become a wife, and then you get children, and then you become a mother, and then you get a job and you become a teacher. But still, Julia, you focus on Julia, not in the teacher, not in the mother, not in the wife, not in the daughter, not in the boyfriend. That is a mask, a role to play for some time, but your focus is your soul. At the end of the day, the point of the story is trust yourself, trust the divine within you. If you know that you are good, you are kind, you are compassionate, you are empathy for the rest of the planet, you have understanding, don't let anyone make you believe less, that you're not good enough, that you are not worth enough. We all part of this creation. Don't give this power to the people. Try not to be insecure anymore. Trust whatever you can do. You don't have to be the best. You have to do your best and trust the universe and be confident, and eventually something good always happens. You just have to be open, aware of it, then you can catch it. But you only do if you are in the present. If you are lost in the past or in the future, you will not be able to see it. You will not be able to catch it.
Thank you, Sabina.
Thank you guys for having me.